Welcome to the Third Win channel, where today we're going to give our thoughts on the characters of Season 2 of iCarly. Some of the bigger characters, some of the smaller characters, basically just putting them into tiers about how much I like them or how good they were this season. So let's get straight into it with our first character, Chris. So Chris was in episode 9, he was the prank king. I thought his character was pretty fun, it opened some kind of moral dilemma. I'm gonna give him a C. He was a smaller character. He wasn't bad, but he wasn't like amazing. He's between a B and a C for me. I'm gonna give him a B because I feel like he fit the iCarly aesthetic pretty well with his like quirky humor. But let's move on to Carly. So Carly this season has been kind of trying to rebuild her character after her fallout in episode 1 and last season's finale, and I think I'm going to save her for last. Oh, the suspense. And I'm going to save Freddie for last. Ooh. But let's get into Millicent. I think Millicent last season I was placing in like C or D. This season I would probably place her in B. I'll drop Chris down to a C for now. Millicent has been getting much better. I like to see her kind of explore her emotions and her new boyfriend Derek. And the reason why she isn't higher than a B is because her stories have not been so involved this season. She's been more in the subplots, and overall, I just lack some more connection with her and some better utilization of her in the show. But I think she's become a character that I don't like to a character I actually kind of enjoy in the show. I love her, the family aspect of her character. Next up, we got Pearl, who I think early, like right when she was introduced, I liked her a lot, but as the season went on, I liked her less and less. And I think that's straight up to her being kind of, I don't know, not that smart. Like, especially in the finale, we saw her kind of not understand Freddie at all. So I think I'm going to put Pearl together with Millicent, but definitely behind Millicent. But I'd say she was better than Wes this season. Like, if she's the counterpart to Wes this season, I think she was a better Wes. So I'm going to put her there. But of course, I might change the ratings as we go along just to see how they compare to other characters. Next up, I got Lubert, who, man, I kind of have to give him an A or an S. I think he was so great this season. I think he's one of the reasons why that first or the second episode was so good. That was my favorite episode of the season, I think. And I just have to give it to him just by making that episode so good. His outbursts, everything, he does it even better than Spencer, I think, the whole screaming thing. So I have to give him an S. Next, and of course, rating these smaller characters, like if they have a small appearance and they do really well in those few seconds, like is it fair to put them above Millicent for being an entire season? I don't know, but I think I'm going to rate them based on how much I liked them when they were in the show. So for me, Chuck, I have to put him as like an A. I love the throwback. You wish it was water, and the way he just comes and causes chaos, and with the chemistry with Spencer is just so funny. I wish there was more of that. I wish he still lived in the building. I think I'm gonna put him as an A. Of course, it looks weird to put these above Millicent, but like I said, I'm rating them based on their time in the show this season. Next up, we got Olive, who we saw a very short appearance from, again in a subplot with Millicent. I think that her character is pretty good. This season we didn't really see much of her, so I have to give her a C just because it just didn't feel so impactful. Next up, we got McKenna, who I personally didn't like. I know there was a lot of people who did like her, but I just don't think that her acting was that great. I just didn't like her whole vibe in the show. Maybe I could push it to a C, but mostly I think she's gonna be one of my least favorite characters on this list. Next up, we got Paul, who I think I'd drop as a solid A character. I love what he does to the dynamic of Freddie and Carly. I like that he has a history with Carly, and I love his character generally. I think he's a kind of I guess a stronger male that the show needed, more of like an alpha type that the show needed, as a bit of a rival to Freddie or whatever. I think he's a great character. Next, we got Byron, who I wish they would have pushed the dull stuff less with him, but I think overall I liked his character a lot. I think it was a fun character. I would love to see him as, maybe a Wes next season for Harper or something like that. But obviously they pushed the quirkiness and the weirdness a little too far with him. But I think his aesthetic really fit the show well, and it was a fun character. Next up, we got the girls or the guys from the drag episode. I dragged him. I put them all as one because we didn't really get to meet them so much individually, but I thought they were worth a mention because they were in a episode. This was the episode where they split the plot in three. It was a bit too much, so we didn't like. They were kind of just pushed in the episode, and for that reason, like I can't put them higher than a C. But honestly, I thought some of them were quite funny, and made some pretty funny comments. So I'm gonna put them right next to Olive here. Just didn't weren't really used correctly, I guess. Next we got Sunny. Um, I'm a little bit sick, sorry. Who I would put. Well, if you don't remember, Sunny was in episode 9. She was the kind of influencer who is leading the Fight Club. But Sunny, I don't know. I think I would put her like way at the back end of C. She was all right, but we've seen a few like her in the show, and she didn't add much to it. I think she was a little bit crazier, which I liked. Just adding that extra edge to the influencer type. So maybe I'll put her here. And it feels wrong putting Olive there, but Olive just really didn't do much this season, so I'm gonna put her there. Next we got Guppy, who appeared for a split second, did his thing, and got out just like Chuck. And he did well at it. I'm gonna put him at a B. Obviously, very short time, not much to talk about there, but happy birthday, right? Next up, we got Marissa, or Freddie's mom, who this season really picked it up, really great. I liked a lot of the stuff that happened with her this season, especially the stuff with Millicent and him still taking care of Freddie, of course. I think I'm gonna have to put Marissa up at an A, but I feel like she probably deserves to be together with Millicent, but they're right next to each other. But I like Marissa just a little bit more this season. But remember, I think my tier list from last year was like Millicent was like somewhere down here, so she's definitely grown up my list. Don't feel like she's, It's not that I don't like her character either. It's just that I think that she could be used. She feels a little bit disconnected sometimes with the show. Next up, we got Harper, who I would say her she was better last season. Like I feel like she was more important to the story last season. This time around, I think that I would put her. She's a character that's fun, but she's not like still not proving like critical to all the story pieces or anything. She's always kind of more subplot, like just like Millicent. But I still would put her higher than Millicent. I think she fits the stories better, and I really like her the vibe she gives to the show. With yeah, she has this kind of attitude that I think is really adds something to the show more than Millicent. They both have attitude, but different attitude. I can't even explain it, but I think I'd put her here personally. Next up we got Grandpa Shay, who I thought definitely matched his performance from the original iCarly. I thought he was a really fun character. I'd put him. He's almost like a counterpart to Marissa. He adds that same kind of not boomer quality, but in the same time a little bit. I'd say I'd put him in A. I think really great character. His appearance, I really enjoy this episode. I know some people didn't, but I thought this episode was fantastic. I think actually, yeah, a lot of people didn't like this episode, but I thought him and his performance, especially at his age, was really great. Next up, we got, I think, a fan favorite and definitely a favorite of mine, the monkey. I really hope we get him again, to be honest. I can't remember his name, but he was so great. I single-handedly made this episode just a little bit better. The episode went from kind of bad to okay and good. So yeah, we got three big hitters, our three biggest hitters at the bottom here. So I figure we'll do Derek first. And I was pleasantly surprised the direction went with Derek. I thought it was a great character. I'm willing to put him just behind Pearl. So I really hope we see more of him. But yeah, something like that. So then we'll go in order. I think Freddie and Carly are definitely our two biggest hitters. So we'll do Spencer first. And Spencer, in the first season, I think I liked him a little bit less than I liked him this season. We saw a little bit more crazy from him, more shouting, which I know I like that stuff. But with Spencer, I've been kind of critical towards his character because he was probably one of, like, if not my favorite character from the original one of. And, they did some things with his character that I don't love. Like, they made him more snobby and rich and kind of think differently, not as heartfelt. But he still has that craziness that I love. But I can't put Spencer this season any lower than the high A tier because he's still one of the best characters in the show. Maybe the best character in the original, and in this show, definitely up there. And I put him next to Chuck, and I think that's appropriate because the two of them excellently play off of each other's craziness. But yeah, I know it looks weird, but I'm just going straight off my mind how much I like them this season. You know what I mean? But next we got, I'll do Freddie first. Um, Freddie this season, really great. I think that Freddie is one of the things in the show that's really keeping it consistent and good. I love what Nathan Kress adds to the show. I think he is, of our core squad, I think he's the best actor as well. I really liked his expressions and his faces and his comments. I really do think that, and he directed 2 episodes this season, Nathan Kress, but that's not really related to what we're doing now. I'd say that I have to put Nathan up in the S tier. It's kind of funny. I mean, I still enjoyed these guys' performance so much. I have to put them there, but Freddie definitely S tier, super consistent. I think he's what's worked the best in the show so far in the long run over our 23 episodes we've had. And then we get to Carly, who I think pretty much is mirroring what she did in the original. Still good old Carly, and she's in a strange way, she's a very unique lead for a show. So that was the same in the original and same now. She definitely has this character to her. I definitely still drop Carly in either S or top of A. I think I'm just gonna put her right next to Freddie. I think that Freddie is definitely better, but I think Carly is a close second there. So I think this is what my list would look like for this season. Let me know. Let me see if there's any more adjustments I'd make. Maybe who deserves to be a tier above? Whose performance did I really enjoy? I think that it's something like this. I think you could do something like this, or maybe you'd raise Spencer up to an S as well. But no, I think that honestly, if I'm being honest, I think this is about how much I enjoyed each character this season. Let me know your list. Where did I get it wrong? Who is your favorite character? Who's your least favorite? Let me know everything, and I'll see you guys really soon. I think tomorrow we'll do an episode of Ranked, something like that, for this season. But yeah, that's my tier list. I'll see you guys very soon, and I'll see you. Yes.